Nobody wants to play a dead game, and that's even more true when it comes to MMORPGs, as half of the content in these games straight up don't exist if there's no players to group up with or compete against. So in this video we're going to list the most played MMORPGs going into—
People spent thousands of dollars to kill that goat. This was a very expensive goat. Too loud? Excuse me, sorry.
2023, the MMOs that receive the most updates and are most likely to maintain a solid population throughout the year. For this video, I will not be using any of the data from the website mmopopulations.com, as this has to be one of the most misleading websites I've ever seen, and the data makes no sense. Look here, for example, this donkey website says that Ashes of Creation has 30k daily players.
I don't think that's accurate. Yeah.
When the game literally isn't playable. It says New World has between 250 and 450k daily players. Wow. When we can see the data on Steam charts that it's nowhere near this number. Most MMOs don't actually disclose player numbers, so I'll be using various other metrics to help me rank the games in this list. The most important thing though is that all of the games—
Is it too loud or not?
Don't actually disclose player numbers, so I'll be using various other metrics to help me rank the games in this list. The most important thing though is that all of the games mentioned in this video have a large enough population size for you to fully experience the game, join guilds and beat the content. Mate, what are you doing in my video?
I do think, however, before we go to the sponsored segment, I do 100% think that population does matter for an MMO. Because if the game has a bad population, then there's not going to be new content for the game.
Go back to where you came from.
Hey, what about my world?
What's wrong with it? Aren't you from a children's game?
That is not true. Hero Wars has vibrant graphics, cool gameplay, and a user-friendly interface.
Okay, let's give it a try.
I recognize that voice. Where do I recognize it from?
Hero Wars is an idle RPG with a character for everyone, from cyborgs to aliens, vampires, and of course, furries. I've been playing it for a bit now, and I've just assembled my first full team. Next, I'll unlock Chaba. He's an awesome tank who literally devours his enemies. But Celeste is real S tier. She can switch between DPS Dark Form and hero.
I've unironically wanted to try out one of these games just to actually see what they're like. Because I hear about how bad they are all the time, but I've never played one. And it's like, I kind of want to see what it's actually like. Am I crazy? It's like for example, I've thought about doing crack before. Not because I like the idea of it, but because everybody says it's so bad. It's like, well, how bad is it really, you know? Well, let's find out.
Light form, which makes her useful in any situation. Bonus points for the sexy outfit. Hero Wars is a relaxing game that you can play anywhere, anytime. It's very easy to start playing, but it's also a skill to build effective team compositions to counter your enemies. For example, Mojo the Shaman can't heal Darkstar the Elf as efficiently as the good Grandma Martha can. Hero Wars is a—
Can you imagine that if I unironically did a Raid Shadow Legends video and I played the game, not sponsored, I want to play it and actually see, is it really bad or not? There's actually a big part of me that kind of wants to do that. That would be so good. Oh my god, that would be insane. I'll have to plan it for April 1st.
World with 6 unique modes,
That's such a good
300
idea.
plus skilled war
fuck.
servers, and 100 million players. Before I forget though, here's a question for you. Where can you get 30,000 coins, 600 emeralds, and 5 awesome heroes to start dominating in Hero Wars? The answer is in the link in the description below. Play Hero Wars now. Star
Wow.
Wars The Old Republic is a theme park MMORPG with a tab target combat system that released all the way back in 2011. Since then, the game's had 8 notable expansions, with the most recent one, Legacy of the Sith, releasing in February 2022. SWTOR has done a great job of maintaining quite a steady player base over the past 10 years.
Twitch views average 150. The big 150. Not looking good.
The game is reviewed extremely well with 89% positive reviews on Steam,
That's pretty
and the
fucking
game has a
good.
lot of content. Expect a mix of both PvP and PvE with group dungeons, solo dungeons, raids, quests, PvP arenas, battlegrounds, PvP Galactic Starfighter, outfit collecting, daily missions, events, a main story with multiple choice dialogue options, and player housing in the form of strongholds. When it
Okay.
comes to player numbers, no exact numbers are published, but based on a few stats, I'd personally estimate SWTOR has a concurrent player base in the region of 10 to 20k. Certainly enough players to find groups to experience all
10 to 20k concurrent players for a video game is really good. Yeah, that's actually really, really good. I'm surprised there's not more people that are watching videos about it.
the content, but it's undoubtedly on a decline. If you want to fully experience this MMO, I'd say do it sooner rather than later, as this game might not make this list in the future.
It's dying.
EVE Online is the oldest MMORPG on this list, and it's still going incredibly strong to this day. Thanks to EVEOffline.net, we're able to see accurate concurrent player numbers in real time for each of the game's servers.
Okay.
And as of making this video, EVE ranges from between 20k and 35k players online at all times.
That's really
Very
good.
impressive for an MMO that
Yeah.
released all the way back in 2003.
Absolutely. I think the people that are looking for the experience that EVE provides will not be able to find it in any other game. It's not like you go from like, I really like playing EVE Online, and now I'm playing World of Warcraft.
Over the years, EVE has received so many updates that it doesn't even look like a 2003 MMO.
Yeah, this looks
It's highly
crazy.
regarded as the #1 space sandbox MMORPG, and the game has a rich history with stories of legendary battles where players lost millions of dollars worth of spaceships.
Yeah, I've seen
EVE
some of
Online
that.
is a very niche MMO, you'll either love it or hate it. Luckily, it's free to play though, so there's no barrier to entry if you want to find out if it's a game for you. RuneScape 3 is another MMORPG that we have accurate concurrent player data for, and it usually ranges between 20 to 35k players online at all times. For those of
That's
you who
not
are
too
unaware,
bad.
there's two different versions
Yeah.
of RuneScape, Old School RuneScape and RuneScape 3. RuneScape 3 is the least popular of the two, but still popular enough that it's receiving regular content updates, and is likely to be
Doesn't RuneScape 3 have more monetization, so there's like more ways they can make money with it? I think if that's the case, that's probably why it keeps getting updates. Yeah, there you go.
around for many years to come. RuneScape 3 is a very different game to old school RuneScape. Different combat system, more updated graphics, animations and effects, different skills and quests, it's more heavily monetized, and overall it feels like a near completely different game. Personally though, I think RuneScape 3 is still quite a good MMO, and where it shines the most in my opinion is in the fully voice acted quests, which are some of the best in the MMORPG genre, and the sense of progression you get from leveling your skills. It's a chill MMO that can be played on your second monitor, and it's no surprise to me that it's made this list.
That's cool.
Guild Wars 2 is one of the easiest to recommend MMOs out there. It's the perfect game to drop in and out of.
Yeah, the good thing about Guild Wars 2 is the same thing about New World, is that Guild Wars 2, you spend money, you buy the game, and then that's it. You don't need to fucking pay a subscription, you don't have a crystalline aura or anything like that. If you buy this game, you can come back and play it.
multiple times throughout the year, due to progression primarily being horizontal and not vertical. Whenever you come back to the game, it's easy to pick right back up where you left off, and you never feel like you're behind. As for player numbers, there's no disclosed information about this. The Steam chart numbers are useless since most.
I had like a real life friend, Austin, who played Guild Wars 2 like crazy, and I watched him play Guild Wars 2 probably collectively for 40 hours. Like, whenever I say I'm not, the game doesn't really appeal to me, like, I'm saying that after watching him play this game from fucking behind his computer for 40 hours.
People use the launcher, and the number on MMOpopulations.com is just pulled from thin air.
Oh, people said that... No, I think that if you explained what I said, like, that the number is used to indicate a trajectory, I think Lazy Peon would agree with me instantly. I never made a statement that the number from Steam charts is indicative of the total number of players. I only said that the trends that the Steam chart indicates are indicative of the entire player base. That's what I said.
I'd estimate Guild Wars 2 to have between 30 and 50k
Nice
players
try.
online at all times. If you go to guildwars2mists.com, you can see that there's a number of EU and NA servers that are straight up full, as well as multiple that are listed as very high. Anecdotally, whenever I play this game, even at 3 AM, you still get 50 player groups forming for the map meta events very
pretty
quickly. The game just feels populated. As for content, Guild Wars 2 has an amazing ongoing main storyline, dungeons, raids, equalized PvP arena, large-scale world vs. world battles, fashion collection, the best mount system in the MMORPG genre, and epic map-wide meta events which usually end in a giant world boss fight.
I'm gonna be honest. This is fucking badass.
And epic map-wide meta events
Look
which
at this.
usually end in a giant world boss fight.
That's really fucking cool.
Definitely a game that's still worth playing. New World is an MMORPG that released in 2021 with a peak of 1 million players. Shortly after launch, though, the game's player population plummeted for months due to numerous issues such as game-breaking bugs, poor game design, a lack of content, and a damaged economy.
Also duping.
Thankfully, since the Brimstone Sands expansion that released in October 2022,
They're gonna make this a
New
raid,
World has
apparently.
clawed its way back from mixed to very positive reviews on Steam, and it's
Yeah, I would say so. I think that most people that play New World right now actually like the game. New World is a lot better.
player numbers have soared from 13k average concurrent to around 50 to 60k. Due to the fact this game is only available on Steam currently, the Steam charts numbers are an accurate representation of New World's actual player numbers, which isn't the case for most MMOs on this list. If you've never played New World before, this is an open-world action combat MMORPG with one of the best gathering systems in the MMO genre. A solid crafting system, voice-acted main questline, classless combat
There's actually a lot of the secondary quests in the Brimstone Sands that are also voice-acted. I do plan on coming back and playing New World again sometime very soon. I just wanted to finish up Valheim.
System PvP in the form of open worlds, arenas and battlegrounds, and PvE in the form of event world bosses, dungeons, and elite mob open world farming spots. I predict New World will go from strength to strength with each update, and this time next year will probably have even more players than it does now if it continues to release positive updates.
New World, also another good thing with it is if you buy the game, you can come back and play it whenever you want. It's the same as Guild Wars 2. It's buy to play, no subscription.
Elder Scrolls Online has been one of the most played MMORPGs ever since it released back in 2014. It's an MMO that receives frequent updates, it's reviewed very positively, and receives plenty of coverage from content creators on YouTube. As for content, it's got stuff for both PvP and PvE players. You've got Cyrodiil, which is a massive open-world PvP zone with territory control and siege mechanics.
Yeah, I did that once. I thought that was pretty cool.
Solo dungeons, group dungeons, raids, crafting and gathering, player housing, an immersive main story for each zone, as well as world events. This game basically has something for everyone.
I never really got into Elder Scrolls. Like, I never really played Skyrim. I played Oblivion a little bit, and then after that I didn't play any of those games. Yeah, I'm serious.
Elder Scrolls Online falls into the theme park MMO category with an action combat hybrid system which some people find to be quite polarizing due to animation cancelling and weapon swap mechanics.
Yeah, I've heard animation
As for player numbers, it's hard to get an accurate concurrent player count because this game is available on multiple different platforms and launchers. It's on Steam, but most people play through the ESO launcher, and it's also available on PS4, PS5, Xbox One and Xbox Series XS. I'd personally estimate ESO to have between 75 and 100k players online at all times across all platforms.
I would probably say ESO is bigger than New World. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Most importantly though, the game feels populated when you play it, and it's easy to find groups and guilds. Old School RuneScape is the most popular of the two RuneScape versions, with between 57k and 107k players online at any given time, depending on the time of day. OSRS is a game that I personally love, and it's an MMO that you can literally spend thousands of hours in to try and max out your account to experience all of the content. Old School RuneScape also has, in my opinion, the most top-tier content creators on YouTube out of any MMORPG, with Settled's Swampletics series possibly being one of the greatest MMO video series ever made.
I've actually never watched that. Maybe one day I'll take a look at it.
Old School RuneScape is all about creating your own goals. It's a sandbox MMO where you choose what stats you want to level, what order you want to tackle the quests, and what restrictions, if any, you want to place on yourself. I've heard from many people that playing OSRS as an Iron Man where you can't trade with other players or receive help is one of the most satisfying MMO experiences you can possibly get, and it's something I plan on trying out myself really soon.
I don't know if I'd like that.
OSRS is available on both mobile and PC, and even in 2023 it's a super easy game to recommend. This isn't just nostalgia talking, by the way, it's objectively one of the best designed MMORPGs ever created.
Albion also has a lot of people that play it too. I mean, like, that's a huge factor. A lot of people play the game.
Online is one of the most successful MMORPGs to come out of crowdfunding, and since releasing cross-platform on mobile, the game's player population absolutely popped off. The latest numbers we have is from June 2021, where the game reached 271k daily active accounts.
Wow.
And since then, the game's had numerous massive updates, which could have caused that number to go even higher. When it comes to daily concurrent player numbers,
I feel like it probably didn't go higher, because if it went a lot higher, they probably would have said so. But, you know, I could be wrong about that.
I think a fair estimate would be between 60 and 120k players online at any given time. Whenever I play Albion Online, I go to a main city, and there's so many players that not all of them even load in. This is because the game has one mega server, so every...
You mean like every single MMO in history from now on should have one mega server? Not a bunch of other bullshit servers where it's like, oh, I'm on this server and it's a dying server and this other server's overpopulated. Nope. It should just be one massive mega server. Servers are a technological limitation, and they only serve to divide players in a game where playing together is one of the highest values.
Everyone from Europe, North America and Asia are all playing together. Now this is great for the purpose of having a thriving economy and a world that feels rammed with players, but depending on where you live, the ping can put you at a disadvantage, with servers located in Washington DC. Albion Online is a true sandbox MMORPG. All of the gear in this game is crafted by the players. There's certain areas of the world that have full loot PvP, and players can even buy the crafting stations in the city and get a tax kickback whenever somebody uses them.
New World has that too.
Over the years, Albion has added so much variety of content to the game that there's something for everyone. Solo PvP, group PvP, high risk PvP, zero risk PvP, and the same can be said for pure PvE players. I'll cut my rambling about Albion Online here, but TLDR, it's a highly popular MMO that has something for everyone, constant massive updates, and it's definitely worth playing.
That's cool.
Black Desert Online.
Yeah, I think good for them. I mean, obviously, I haven't played the game before, but I have strongly considered it. Same with Black Desert. I played this game on release. I went super hard. I was on the leaderboards for, like, highest level. I think it was called Growth at that time. I don't know if it still is. Like, you know, who has the highest level on the server. Anytime I logged on, I was on that fucking list. And I played the shit out of this game. I quit before they even added in Awakenings.
Love it or hate it, this MMORPG is absolutely huge. The only data we have for this game is the Steam chart numbers for NA/EU on PC, but that doesn't take into consideration that most people don't play it from Steam. The game's available on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, as well as multiple regions such as Korea, Southeast Asia, Russia, Middle East, and South America.
The way that you the way you upgrade your gear in BDO is like, imagine if you want to get a new phone, okay? So let's say you want an iPhone, let's say 9. I don't know which iPhone they're at. The way you get an iPhone 9 is you take two iPhone 8s and you beat them against each other. And there's like a 50% chance that they both break and you lose both your iPhone 8s. But, you know, there's a 50% chance that those two phones come together and they become an iPhone 9. That's the way this game works with its upgrade system.
All platforms and regions, I'd have to estimate that Black Desert Online has at least 100 to 175k players logged in at all times, possibly even higher. BDO is a Korean sandbox MMORPG with the best action combat system in the MMO genre. In this game you'll spend a lot of time mob grinding, PvPing with other players for your grind spot, leveling your life skills, building your worker empire, and trying to figure out the best way to make money on your 2,000 plus hour grind to maxing out your gear. At endgame, you'll be partaking in PvP node wars, castle sieges, dungeons, boss challenges, praying to the RNG gods for a tier 10 horse, or decorating your instanced player house for ERP underwear parties.
Oh, wow.
Is BDO still worth playing? Honestly, that depends on two things. 1, have you got anything better to do? And 2, how big is your bank balance?
True.
Lost Ark is the most popular top-down MMORPG by far. This game exploded on Steam when it released in the West in 2022, reaching highs of 1.3 million concurrent players.
Lost Ark on release was absolutely fucking insane. People were going apeshit on that. 500k cap? No, this is probably accurate. You're not, like, he says average daily concurrent players is 500k to 750k. That's probably true. You have a massive Russian server. You have massive Korean servers.
And that's not even mentioning Korea, where the game is also absolutely massive. Since launch, Lost Ark's player numbers have dropped, with one big reason being the devs constantly trying to combat bots, which some players claim account for 50% of the numbers we see on Steam chart.
I think that's an understatement.
In 2022, Lost Ark saw 260k concurrent players on the Korean servers alone following a big update. So all things considered, I think globally across all servers, a conservative estimate without bots would be that Lost Ark has between 300k and 600k real players online at any given time across all servers. NA, EU, Korea, Russia, and Japan.
I would say that's
now,
probably
that number
accurate,
could be higher, but I think it's reasonable to put Lost Ark as the number 3 most popular MMORPG. So is the game any good? Yes. As much as some people slate Lost Ark for being pay to win, I think by Korean MMO standards, the pay to win isn't nearly as bad as other games.
Which means it's very bad. Yeah, I do think that obviously Lost Ark is a great game. I think that it's very sad to me that Lost Ark is in the position that it's in, because it wouldn't be that hard, in my opinion, to make the game amazing. It's just a few degrees off of amazing. Just change some tuning and change some percentages, and you're done. Like, the gameplay is great. The raids are great. The combat is great. Like, a lot of the systems, like, you know, getting the little seeds and your fucking skill point potions and the masterpieces, I think that stuff is great. There's just a few things that are trash.
In fact, I think you can fully enjoy Lost Ark completely free to play, or just with the optional subscription. As for content, the game has a ton of horizontal progression, collectibles, completionism, equalized PvP arenas, the best isometric action combat system in the MMO genre, some of the best raids in the MMO genre, fashion collecting, daily bosses, minigames, mounts, and player housing in the form of strongholds. The game actually has even more stuff than that, but TLDR, yes, it's worth playing.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy XIV. It's extremely difficult to even estimate the average concurrent player numbers for this game for the following reasons. The Steam chart numbers represent a tiny fraction of the player base that actually play via Steam. The game is available on PlayStation 3, 4 and 5, as well as being available in multiple regions, and we have no official numbers by the developers in regards to how many people actually play this game daily. Given the fact that Final Fantasy XIV made $511 million gross revenue in the year during the Endwalker release, we can roughly estimate that the game has between 2 to 2.5 million monthly subscribers. The game has a $12.99 monthly sub fee, they sell various services and cosmetics on the MOG store, and the new expansion costs $40 to buy, so with a little bit of napkin math, I think those numbers are somewhat accurate.
I think maybe somewhere around there. It's very hard to be sure about this kind of stuff, and I think that really you're always just playing a guessing game. But how many average concurrent people log on to Final Fantasy a day? I would say probably between like 500 to 2 million, somewhere around there. Like I'd say 2 million on expansion releases, maybe something like that, and 500 in like lulls and content.
This down further into concurrent players, each server in Final Fantasy XIV can handle a maximum of between 6 to 10,000 players online at any given time. The game has 69 servers across multiple regions, so a maximum concurrent player count of between 400 and 700k players online at any given time seems reasonable.
People.
During the Endwalker expansion release, a lot of the servers had login queues in the range of 15 to 20k.
Yeah, this was really bad.
So at its absolute peak, the game had well over 1.5 million people trying to play the game.
There it is.
None of this really matters though. What really matters is that Final Fantasy XIV is a highly social, active MMORPG where you'll easily be able to find guilds, groups, and people to hang out with at any time of the day. If you're a fan of catgirls and trying to nice guy your way into the pants of another guy role-playing as a female character, then there's no better MMO out there for you.
That's what I hear.
People generally consider Final Fantasy XIV to have top-tier raiding, top-tier story, top-tier fashion, and top-tier roleplay. If you're a PvP player or fan of...
I think Final Fantasy is like kind of the foundation that you're going to see a lot of other games emulate. That it's a single-player game that has multiplayer MMORPG aspects. And we're seeing more games do that.
Sandbox MMOs and don't care about story, it might not be the game for you though. The last time World of Warcraft published official player numbers was back in 2015 when it hit an all-time low of 5.5 million subs during the Warlords of Draenor content drought. Now that was 7 years ago at this point, but with the release of WoW Classic TBC, Wrath of the Lich King Classic and Dragonflight, interest in WoW seems to have had a bit of resurgence in recent years.
I think a lot of people are back excited about WoW again because Dragonflight is good and Old War is coming out. It just makes sense that people are going to be excited about WoW again. And also, I think that you have to remember that so many people have played WoW over the years that, like, the amount of people that are interested in the game and want to see content for it is tremendous. It's fucking huge.
A lot of old veteran players returned to the game for classic servers, but stuck around and transitioned to retail when they burned through all the classic content.
Which is good.
Anecdotally, all of my WoW friends returned to the game for Dragonflight, which seems to be one of the most well-received expansions in years so far.
Yes, it is. Dragonflight is the first expansion since I don't even remember when that the game comes out and, like, it's not worse because of the expansion.
Additionally, someone made an estimated WoW Classic population chart by extrapolating data from raid passes, which puts the Classic population...
Legion on release was horrible. It was absolutely fucking horrible. People hated it.
Around 500,000.
Go back and watch the videos.
We don't truly know how many players WoW has in total, but it's probably somewhere in the region of 4.5 million subscribers with 1 to 2 million daily concurrent players. World of Warcraft doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon, and as of making this video, Blizzard recently released a roadmap for the current expansion for the first time ever. Blizzard and World of Warcraft have been generating a lot of Ws recently, and community sentiment around the game seems to be quite positive. If there was ever a time to play World of Warcraft, now seems like the best time in years to jump into it. But that's it for the most played MMORPGs heading into 2023. I really did my best to give some somewhat realistic player population estimates during this video, as the
Yeah, I think it's important to keep in mind that, like, any of these estimates or anything like this, like, nobody really has any fucking idea. We're all just kind of guessing.
Data that's constantly referenced in websites such as mmopopulations.com and activeplayers.io is clearly off by a lot.
Yeah, it's just bullshit.
Maybe my numbers are slightly off in this video, but what I'm quite confident on is the order in which I've placed these games. Honestly though, past a certain point, player numbers don't really matter.
No.
If you're playing an MMO that has 20k concurrent players on a single server, but only a total of 60k daily players, you're going to meet more players out in the world than an MMO with 1 million subscribers, but with servers that can only support 5 to 10k concurrent.
That's a lot for WoW. I would say that, you know, there's a lot of people that play WoW, and, like, you don't see enough people out in the world, I think. I think the sharding in WoW really hurts the game.
What really matters is that you're able to beat all of the content and find players to group up with to do that. Once that becomes too time consuming, then the game will start to feel dead, even if that isn't necessarily the case when you look at the overall data. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, then help me out with a like for the algorithm gods, and let me know in the comments below if you think this list will be slightly different heading into 2024. Shout out to Hero Wars for the sponsorship today. Click the link in the description below to download the game. Social media on screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
That was a pretty good video, I'd say. I think those estimates are pretty accurate. I'm going to go ahead and link it to you guys. We've watched a lot of Lazy Peon videos over the years, okay? You guys know him. I do too. I've been watching his videos ever since he was the Lazy Peon, because he was a WoW-centric YouTube channel. That was quite a while ago. That was back whenever I was starting out on YouTube too. We'll give it a like. This is a good video. I think it was accurate too. Let's see here. They banned me for cheating when I didn't. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I have no idea. Are there any casual MMOs? I liked Lost Ark, but it honestly felt like a job with alts and daily stuff. I think WoW is a really good casual MMO right now. I don't know about Final Fantasy. I haven't played it. People say it is. New World's pretty good for that. I mean, I don't know. That's yeah, I'd go with that. Yeah, how about there? Guild Wars? Yeah, I don't play Guild Wars 2. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking to probably go back and play, like, New World a bit more. Like, get back into Lost Ark, do that some more. And just in general, keep up with a lot of these games. I enjoy them. I also plan on playing more, like, single-player games and other stuff like that. Like, you know, just not just MMOs. Final Fantasy is casual, but the thing is you pay monthly. Some people rather rush content while they're paying monthly, though. Yeah, I think that over time we're going to see more and more games go towards the Lost Ark payment model. Not pay to win, like, I mean, probably with that too, but, like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how, like, you can play Lost Ark for free, but you just have a lot of handicaps that if you pay a subscription, those handicaps disappear. So I think that more games should use that, because the truth is that so many games nowadays are free to play. It's very hard for a game to make a value proposition that's compelling enough for people to pay a monthly subscription. That's the truth. Yeah, RuneScape membership, something like that. Exactly. We try Throne and Liberty. Absolutely. I'm really excited to play it. I can't wait till it comes out, and whenever it does come out, I'm going to play it. Yeah, I'll play every new MMO that comes out. I've said that before, but I will say it again. What handicaps would you add to WoW? I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I have no idea. Why? Then it's all just monetized to shit? Well, because the truth is that that's the way gaming is going. Because every other game is like that. Like MMOs don't exist in a vacuum. They exist in a gaming ecosystem with hundreds of other games that they compete against. It doesn't matter whether, you know, you think the monetization is shit or not. If this is the prevailing method that's making the most money and retaining the most people, then that's all that's going to matter. That's what's going to happen. Enjoy games like Lost Ark, but you can immediately notice the difference in quality if you're paying for something $12.99 for something like Final Fantasy XIV. Yeah, I thought that until I played Shadowlands. Handicaps like Value Pack and BDO? Yeah, I don't know yet. Will you do a Cyberpunk playthrough? Probably not. I don't think so. Maybe one day I will, but it's not something I'm planning on, okay? Yeah, anyway, I'm going to call it. I'm going to go get some sleep. Tomorrow, I do plan on going live. Tomorrow's Wednesday. No, it's Sunday. And we're probably just going to do Dark Souls 1 whenever I go live. And I'll do the Deathless run because I didn't really have time to do it today because the Valheim stuff took me so long. Oh, today, yeah, well, tomorrow for me is still Sunday. You've got to keep that in mind, guys. Yeah, that's my tomorrow. Dark Souls 1 with mod or vanilla? Vanilla. Base game. Deathless run. Very good Albion video. I don't want to look at that right now. Couldn't sleep. I was pleased to see your stream. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sekiro? Play Sekiro again? Yeah, maybe one day I will. Did you beat Valheim? I did, but in the process, Valheim also beat me. It was a extremely annoying fucking last boss. Like, I was so fucking pissed, man. God, that last boss was awful. I didn't die, though. To be fair, I did not die to the boss. Nax gearing before Old War. Yeah, I probably should do that, too. Maybe in the next, like, day or two. Do a Nax run or something like that. I wish you could just go, like, can you skip to Kel'Thuzad yet, or do you have to do all the other wings? Yeah, I'm not sure. Because, like, they added that later on, but I don't know when that's going to happen. You have to do, there's no skip yet? Oh, fuck. Oh, the clip of you pushing the cart off the highest mountain. Yeah, thanks for streaming. Play Dark Souls 3, please. Yeah, maybe. We'll see what happens. You have it, but next phase you can farm, next phase you can farm gear in heroic mode. I don't think so. I think it's probably still going to be better to just do normal mode. But I don't know what weapons I'm going to use or anything like that. I'll figure it out. I'm not stressed out about it. Speedrun the whole thing in 1.5 hours? Yeah. But we're probably not going to have a good group if we're just, like, randomly getting a stream pug. Think you can do the Deathless run? I have not played Dark Souls 1 since 2021. I will give it my best shot, okay? How about that? Mr. Queen Kill, but I'm watching the VOD. Yeah, thanks. It was just so fucking brutal to do it. It was awful. Like, the fight wasn't... Like, at the end of the day, the fight wasn't very fun. And I didn't like it at all. I think that, as I said with Mistlands, I think Mistlands does a great job accentuating all of the inadequacies Valheim has. And it does a good job of, like, suppressing every good thing in the game while simultaneously, like, fucking promoting every bad thing in the game. The Black Knight weapon, the game's over pretty much. I don't know. I could always roll off the edge of something. The way we went in was the least optimal. How is it the least optimal? I had rested the entire time. I had the bone mass buff. I had potions up, poison resist, and also stamina potions, healing potions, fully leveled up weapons. What the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, come on. Yeah, I had a lot of stuff, man. Valheim made me respect New World more. Yeah. New World's a good game too. I'm gonna play that too. You didn't have any kind of bombs for the ads? Maybe. Maybe that would have helped. Just got the gear last night. It helped me a lot, man. Your rule. Thanks. Good night. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. You consider starting to stream a bit later or earlier for Europe watchers? I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. It depends. Chainsaw Man creator said power is based on Cartman. Can you believe that shit? Yeah, I can. I think that's actually really interesting. Just stream 24/7? Yeah, there you go. I did really like Chainsaw Man. What's up, Tectone? How you doing? Yeah, it was a really good anime. It was fun. I'm not gonna watch or read ahead on the manga. I'm just gonna play the game, or not play the game. I'm gonna just watch the anime. That's the plan. Maintain the same timing. No, I want to be live in the mornings. I don't like being I don't like waking up at night. And it's not because I actually enjoy the schedule, but what I don't like about it is that whenever I wake up, obviously, you know, we've got, you know, I've got 2 companies I'm running, right? I've got a bunch of people I'm talking to all the time. So like every time I wake up late at night, there's like 17 missed messages, 3 conversations I have to catch on, 2 voicemails, you know, 5 phone calls, 3 Twitter DMs, you know, 10 texts. And it's like, oh my fucking God. And like waking up and the first thing you see is just like that little red number with all the things that you need to fucking deal with. That's the last thing that I want to see, man. It is awful. So yeah, I'm not a fan of it, man. At all. I have a virtual assistant. Yeah. Prefer the OST of music in WoW or Final Fantasy more if you had to pick? I don't know. I don't have to pick, really. I mean, like, it depends on what the track is, I guess. Why don't you get a manager? Well, because these are decisions that I have to make personally. That's why. Like, for example, I think, like, the boss music in Final Fantasy is, like, obviously a million times better, but I think the ambience and, like, outdoor music in WoW is probably better. I like that more. Does that make sense? Any tips on waking up early? No. If you find any, let me know. Boss music in WoW is very lacking. It's sad. Yeah, they made it a bit better with the recent expansion. So I'm happy about that.